Hey, you're listening to Don't Lie to Your Life Coach podcast with Kim Arrington. I'm Kim Arrington. I'm a life coach, a weight loss coach, an author, and a badass passionate about helping you connect back to your most authentic self. Join me here each week so I can coach you on how to think all those juicy thoughts that get you feeling your absolute best and taking some big ass action. Coaching has changed my life, and it can change your life too. I'm here to give you real life solutions to create a life you'll love. Because the truth is, boo, you ain't just got problems, you got options. Hey, y'all. Today is the 70th podcast episode, and I just want to tell you from the bottom of my big loving heart how much I appreciate you being on this journey with me, how gratifying it's been, and how incredible the transformation I hope that you are experiencing, because hell, I'm experiencing it from the podcast too. So 70 episodes, which really means I've done this probably about 85 times, 90 times. Not every podcast makes the cut. I just want to tell you, thank you. Please keep listening. If you want to know more about the weight loss, next Thursday, I think that's the 16th, I will be hosting a live masterclass, 3 Secrets to Unstoppable Weight Loss for Women Over 40. If you sign up at kimarrington.com/free weight class, I will put that in the show notes to get that masterclass, or whenever I do a live masterclass or any of that. But if you sign up at the weight loss link, you're going to get emailed about it too. Okay. So I'm excited about that. This is going to be my first free masterclass, all about how to have lasting weight loss. Yay. Also, while we're talking about this, I'm only taking 7 coaching clients for the totality of 2024. So if you have been sitting on the fence, I have an amazing client who started listening to the podcast actually too, and jumped in, and we had great results with them. So if you want to be in that 7, I'm going to need you. You have to go to kimarrington.com, hit the join wait list. I will get in touch with you when I am taking those clients. If you are committed to changing your life supremely in ways, if you want some happiness, get on that wait list and I will get back in touch with you, because it's only going to be 7. And I love the number 7. Did I tell y'all I love 7? So 70 is very special to me. Today, in fact, is a great one. Today is a great one. We are going to be talking about how to be happy now, damn it. And this is going to be a part 1. This is going to be a part 1. I already started getting ideas for part 2. So this is going to be a part one. So what I want you to think about is, what is your definition of happiness? Now, I have a buddy and she put this quote up. This is not the first time I've seen this quote. I've seen this quote quite a few times. And this has been my new goal over the last couple of months, is this right here. Here's the quote. Growing up, I never knew a relaxed woman. Successful woman, yes. Productive woman, plenty. Anxious and afraid and apologetic women, heaps of them. But relaxed women, at ease women who didn't dissect their days into half-hour slots of productivity, women who prioritized rest and pleasure and play, women who aren't afraid to take up space in the world, women who give themselves unconditional permission to relax without guilt, without apology, without feeling that they need to earn it. I'm not sure I've ever met a woman like that, but I would like to become one. And this is from Nicola Jane Hobbs. We're going to use this right now as part of our paradigm for what happiness looks like. And when I say how to be happy right now, damn it, it is going to require you to do some different things than what you've been doing, because a lot of y'all sound like this right here. And I'm telling you right now, my perspective has really shifted, I would say, over the last 9 months to being this. This is possible. So, one of the things that I want you to think about is how this podcast is for you. Don't lie to your life coach is for you, but this particular podcast, if you can't quite put a finger on why you're feeling kind of low when everything is going well, people might even say you have a charmed life, but you just ain't feeling it. This podcast is for you. Or if it's not going well and there's a lot of turmoil and you don't know what to do next because you desperately want to feel better, this podcast is also for you. And I will say this, if you think you are depressed, you need something stronger than this podcast, okay? You've got to talk to a therapist. I want you to enlist your most trusted friend, your most on top of it friend to help support you while you find a therapist. And some of us work at jobs where we have the personal assistance programs that will give you a couple of sessions and help to refer you out. Call your insurance company if you don't have insurance. There's BetterHelp. I don't endorse them. I don't know anybody. Actually, I do know one person who used them when they didn't have insurance, and they had a really lovely experience with them. So just put up on Facebook if you have to. Have a friend looking for a therapist if you don't want people to know it's you. Like, I want you to immediately find some assistance immediately, okay? The happiness I'm talking about is a little bit more of, I don't feel connected to myself. I don't feel connected to my life. I don't know what's going on. And y'all know I love to start y'all out with a story. So yesterday, I cleaned out the oven. We are hosting Thanksgiving here. It's been a long time. And that oven, I don't know if it has been cleaned out. I would say that oven ain't been cleaned out before, like, the pandemic happened. It ain't been clean. It won't cleaned out during the pandemic. One of the reasons why, and I want you to think about this in terms of like finding proactive ways to engage your happiness. One of the reasons why I didn't clean out the oven is, y'all know that those 1980, 1990 oven cleaners, the fumes, like, you got to air out the house, you got to open the windows, you got to open the doors, you got to leave the door open like Bruno Mars, you got to do all that. The fumes are ridiculous. It's already a tough job, right? The first thing I had to do was I was like, I'm not doing it this way anymore. I need to find another way to do it. So I went to YouTube University, where we all go and we don't know shit. And I just did a couple of lit, like what the English major in me would call a lit review, but a video review where I found different methods. I used a different method. I ain't gonna tell y'all. Y'all need to go and look on YouTube yourself, because you ain't gonna blame me if your oven does this or your oven does that, because our oven used to have a self-cleaning feature, and like so many ovens, and I found this out, the self-cleaning feature gets so hot that the oven locks. And then we had a lock failure where we couldn't get the oven open. We eventually were able to get the oven open, and the self-clean thing, we ain't doing that no more. So you had to like kind of recognize reality, like the self-cleaning mode is not a thing. I'm not going to use this chemical to clean the oven. I already know it's going to be a tough job. Does sound familiar, friends, when it comes to happiness, right? You already know it's going to be potentially a tough job. You got to look at it. Maybe you haven't looked at it in a while, and you feel some kind of way about having to look at it. And you've got to look around to see, what you got to invest. You got to investigate to figure out what some of your next steps are, how you're going to do it so it's going to be a little easier, right? Then I found the way to do it. Part of the thing that was told was not needed. Hello. You're on a happiness journey. Part of what you learn, you may not need that. You may need to try something else. I got in there. I was cleaning the oven. Y'all, if you've been listening, if you haven't been listening, something's wrong with you. But if you've been listening, you know I've been on this decluttering kick. And I finally realized part of the reason I had an epiphany about why I wasn't in love with cleaning. And part of it was that as a woman, I'm supposed to be a professional and I'm supposed to be just like the man. And I'm supposed to, not kowtow to, things that are said to be feminine. And I have to hold my position and I had to do what, and you know what? I had that podcast with Becky Blackburn. I will link it in the show notes. You all, whenever I talk about a podcast, if you go into the show notes, I'll always link the YouTube, but you can always go into whatever your favorite, podcast platform is and find the number of the podcast or type it in and go from there. So you could do it two ways. I had already started doing some decluttering, but I realized that decluttering was a way I could be a leader in my house. I had more free time than my husband. Our kid is only here half time because we're a blended family. And I began to like it, not like it. I began to love it. I began to feel so excited as I was working through stuff with the weight loss course. I began to feel so good about having something that I could touch and it could be immediately done. And I started with the area that needed the most, which is our bedroom. And I brought beautiful order. I helped to integrate my husband's clothes and shoes and just like doing all these things, throwing things away, and we have maintained it. It's been incredible. So it was time for the oven. So if you look at that in a happiness journey, right? Remember, I always tell y'all, look at things as a journey and shout out to my client yesterday who had the biggest aha moment because for her, she was like, it's like, I don't get the credit. It's not done until I complete it. And I was like, no, when you take the first step to start it, you are doing it. The doing it isn't like when it's done. The doing it is in when you take the action. And it was such a huge aha for her because she was like, I never give myself the credit when I take the action. I never give myself the credit in the middle. I never give myself the credit on day 3. And I was like, no, you got to give yourself credit all along and understand that when it's done, that's its own category. But feeling good about doing it, you can feel that at any time. And just like a Coach Kim tip, honestly, y'all, do not wait to feel good to do something. When you start doing it, you will begin to feel good. That's how you get anything done. I don't wait till I feel good to do it. I know that at some point I'm going to be like, go, Kim, it's your birthday. Like, I'm going to give myself the big ups. You got to do the same thing. Do not wait to feel I had a coworker once who loved cleaning her home. Unless you love cleaning your home, you probably ain't going to feel good. And guess what? You don't even got to feel good about it. Some things you just going to do and you don't feel good about it. But for me, I got so much joy for seeing places transform, organizing things, decluttering, donating, throwing away. And it's been a small project every day or a larger project on the weekends. And it's been a way for me to think through what's going on in my life. Sometimes I'm very present in what I'm doing. I'm listening to a podcast, I'm listening to music, I'm listening to audiobook. I have made it fun. So put that to your happiness journey. How can you decide that it's enough for you to get started? It's enough for you to be doing instead of seeing yourself until you are the happiest you've ever been, which is kind of unrealistic, but could happen, right? The happiest you've ever been, or just so happy. It's not done until you're completely happy. What if it is movement? What if it's just like, I feel less sad today. I feel less frustrated today. I feel less angry today. I feel less annoyed today. How about a lessening of a difficult emotion also counts as progress. Hello. So back to the oven. Y'all, the oven, first thing I did is I looked at the oven. Why did I take my vacuum and take the little hose thing and vacuum out like all the crunchies in the oven? And I was like, bitch, you brilliant. Like everybody need to know that. And I didn't have a lot of crunchies, but me trying to scrape it out with a what? Like, no, I vacuumed it. Then I went and got a light so I could point into the oven. Then I got my glasses and I had to go run out to the dollar store to get, a spray bottle, and I was in a sponge. So I gave myself the right weaponry, the right tools, the right way to get where I wanted to go. That was important. And I'm not saying it has to be tons of tools. I spent $2. To be exact, $2.69 at the dollar store. Okay. I had all the things already here that I needed. And I was going to keep looking for a video that was going to say, hey, use these things. And I already had them. So you don't have to, on your happiness journey, you don't have to go out and grab a ton of things. Y'all got a library card, you got the Libby app or the Hoopla app, or might be an audio book. There may be someone to follow on YouTube. You have this podcast for sure. Like just getting a tool or two. I didn't say a whole bunch of tools. I didn't use a bunch of tools, but making it easier on you as you are going through that happiness journey. Here's the awesome part about cleaning out the oven. I was realistic. That oven has been in here for over 20 years. That oven ain't been cleaned all the time. So while the inside of the oven looks incredible, the door got some stuff baked in. It's going to take a couple of cleanings to get all that. And the glass, you can't use abrasive things on the glass. The glass is probably always going to look the way the glass looks. I mean, they don't even make ovens quite like this anymore. And I am so grateful for that oven. So being realistic on your happiness journey, being realistic, it goes back to a lessening in intense emotion is progress. But like, if your baseline has never been shiny, happy people holding hands, if you've never been that, then don't expect that. Like, ask yourself, what does happiness look like for me? What is my baseline of happiness? Where's a time in my life I felt really good? Please make it a time when you were making good decisions. Okay, make it a time like that. I'm in there cleaning the oven. Y'all, I'm kind of loving it. Like I'm bent over the oven. What's the fairy tale where the person falls in the oven? I don't know. Those fairy tales are real gangster. They're real they're gory. But I was in there and I was like loving, like the water was so black. And I was loving changing it out. I think I changed out that water 9 times. I was scrubbing every time stuff would come down. I was like, yes, I was just determined that I was going to enjoy it. And then when I was done, I took some breaks, y'all. I cleaned the oven racks in the bathtub upstairs and scrubbed those and rinsed them off with the shower and did all that. And then when I was done, I turned on the oven. First, I did 200 and let it stay there for about 20, 30 minutes. And I went to 350. Then I went to 425 because I was trying to burn off whatever residue so it wouldn't get into the food or wouldn't. And I opened the windows and I realized I didn't really need to open the windows. I had the fan on over the top of the oven. I had the fan on. And I was like, I don't even need that because remember, you made that decision. You made that decision to go a different route. Let's look at that with a happiness journey. When you decide to do things differently, you might be surprised at the things you don't need, at the work you don't need, at how difficult it really might not have been, how you're 3 months later and you feel different and you got a new baseline of how you feel, or like you allowing yourself to enjoy enjoy an experience. I often say this with grief, and y'all gonna be like, are you crazy? You enjoy grief? Well, when I take a client through a grief journey, what I do with them is very quickly let them know the depth of their grief is often the depth of their love. And remember, we all do grieve different. Some of us may really sob. Some of us may be quiet. Some of us may withdraw. It's not about how we do the grief, but the fact that we are missing that person, missing that situation, missing what that reality is, that there was love that's present, and love being present is a good thing, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts. So that was a long ass metaphor about cleaning out an oven. I want to give you some ideas about what makes getting to happiness easier. Y'all know, I believe wholeheartedly in 3 words: sense of humor. Like, what can I find funny in this? And how can I laugh at myself? And how can I find someone else who's gone through this journey and they made it comical? That's kind of what I love about the reels on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, is sometimes they're a little dark and sometimes they're a little like they're funny, or a meme or whatever, or someone posts something on Facebook. Like, there's some funny shit about things that ain't really funny. And when I see other people post it, then what it makes me do is it pulls me out of my seriousness, my finality, because that's part of what y'all struggle with, right? When you don't feel happy, your big fear is you're never going to be happy again. And that is caca doo-doo shitballs. That is not true. If you aren't happy, it does not mean you will never be happy again. As a matter of fact, to never be happy again, you have to work pretty intently at that. You have to be super committed to not being happy again for you to get that. So can I tell y'all right now, can I give y'all a little lessoning, take the pressure valve down? When you aren't happy, it can totally be temporary. And even in your lack of happiness, there are moments where you are less unhappy. There are moments when you notice things. And I think for me, one of the reasons why I love my daily walk is it draws me out of whatever is going on in my life, and it forces me to like look outside in the woods or in my neighborhood. Like, it might be a child who rides by on a bike who's laughing, or it might be a dog whose owner stops and lets me pet the dog, or it could be one of my buddies. Like, I was walking in the neighborhood and turned on a street the other day, and I had my friend on speakerphone. I hadn't hooked up my Bluetooth on my AirPods. And she was like, I just took the biggest dump. And I said to my neighbor, did you just hear that she just said she took the biggest dump? And we had the biggest laugh about it. Like, you've got to decide you're going to look for happier. Just kidding. You have to decide you're going to look for happy moments. You're going to like keep your eyes. What's the game in the car? I spy with my little eye. Like, I'm going to notice happy moments. Even if I don't feel great, I'm going to see it on other people and recognize that that can be me too. I'm starting to sound like a damn life coach, ain't I? Hey, friends, you all know that every episode of Don't Lie to Your Life Coach is sponsored by my new weight loss program called Half Life. Let's hear a little bit about Half Life right now. Hey, I'm Coach Kim, and I'm your last weight loss coach. But I've cracked the code. 65 pounds of weight loss later, and I can teach you how to keep weight off, because I'm going to teach you all about the thing you really want, which is lasting weight loss. All about my weight loss program. It's called Half Life Weight Loss. Learn how to stop overeating, lose weight, and gain yourself back for successful women over 40. And you better know successful is an acronym that we'll talk about all in my course. But here's the deal. With Half-Life Weight Loss, you're going to get 15 plus hours of instructional videos that you can listen to any time of the day or night. They're yours to listen to as you want. You're going to get a workbook that's going to help you answer all those questions to get you to lasting weight loss. Email support. Okay, I'm going to check in on you via email every now and then. An audio version of the course. So think about it. You're going to already get a video version, right? That you're going to be able to watch, but you're going to get an audio version to take with you on a walk or in the car or when you're doing the dishes. I'm also going to include a downloadable 75 things to do other than overeat, because with Half-Life Weight Loss, I have really 3 goals for you. Learn how to not overeat, which results in lasting weight loss if you continue. Learn all the other things you'd rather do than overeating, and learn how to remember who you truly are. All right, no one does it better than me. So I want to see you here to get it done. You to press go. I want you to do this for yourself. This is the best time to lose weight. You are the best version of you to lose weight, and I'm going to help you every step of the way. It's time to upgrade your solution, and I got you. Half-Life Weight Loss is going to help you gain your whole self back. I got you. All right. Can't wait to see you on the inside. If you want to know more about Half-Life, I want you to go to www.kimarrington.com/weight loss. All right, we're back. Y'all know this is episode 70, baby. Thanks again, y'all. Y'all know the first episode that what I talked about is wanting my hope back. And then I came back a year later and I was like, well, I got my hope back. How about you? But I have gone to a deeper level now. I have leveled up. For me now, it's not about hope. It's about knowing. Knowing, what does that mean? It means that I know myself in a way so intimately that I didn't know quite a year and some change ago, when the tree fell in the car and it was a near-death experience. I took the time to reflect about why the fuck I should be here, why I deserve to be here, why I am not going anywhere. What is it that makes me worthy for myself and valuable to myself to be here? And then I did what the newest thing is. I decided that I could meet my needs. I absolutely can. But I want for other people in my life to meet my needs too. I now know that I don't just need to meet my own needs. I need to ask for things and ask for people to show up and ask to be supported and ask for all those things. And that took me from hope to knowing. Now going from trying to trusting, okay? Let's talk about trying as a verb. It's kind of not the best. To put to a test or trial. To subject to something, such as an undue strain or excessive hardship or provocation that tests the power of endurance. To make an attempt at. Let's talk about trying as an adjective. Difficult or annoying, hard to endure. This is where I got this whole idea where y'all was obsessed with dinosaurs growing up. I was obsessed with, I love dinosaurs. This is where I got this idea that I'd rather be a Trustosaurus Rex than a Triosaurus Rex. Trusting is something different. Here's the definition of trust. Firm belief in the reliability, truth, ability, or strength of someone or something. That can be you. I'd rather be a Trustosaurus Rex than a Triosaurus Rex. When you're trying something, you're entering it with insecurity. Trying has too much 50-50. And if y'all don't feel comfy about it, how does that show up? How does that show up? Let me make another case for trust. Can you just trust that happiness is going to return? Can you just trust that the best is going to work out for you? Can you just realize that you might just be going through a moment and that happiness is right under this moment, under this, I hate to say it, y'all, but this lesson, this experience that, oh, how about this? How about this? That there actually could be something in the experience that turns out way different. So much of this comes around relationships with others. A relationship you think ends. Do y'all know how many relationships end and then one or of the people come back and revive the relationship and it's even better than ever? Do you know how often that happens? Poll your friends. I guarantee you most of your friends, the ones who might be happily married, at one point broke up with their person, or who are partner broke up with their person, because breakups happen to good people. And that relationship can come back even stronger. Like sometimes people need to have some distance to understand how they want to be connected. Can you just trust it's going to work out? Before you cry into the pillow, you say to yourself, you know what? There's some things that I let go in the relationship on my end. There's some ways of being that I want to be different. I'm going to get back to that. I'm going to get back to fulfillment. I'm going to believe that the love that me and this person have is amazing and that it'll come back together. And I'm not the one who always has to do the work. I will put Do Less, Sit on Your Hands podcast in this part 1, that I'm worthy, I'm amazing, I'm chosen, that someone may come for me, not in the way that I'm saying, y'all, not that bad, come for me, but come for me in a positive way. They may come back to me. Instead, what you all do when a relationship often ends is you think about how you've been wronged, how you can't believe it happened, and how it shouldn't be happening to you. I'm just going to give you a word of advice. Take it if you want, don't take it. If you want a relationship to come back together, I definitely would go with the latter, which is getting back to what I enjoy, saying I'll never put it down again, feeling more certain about myself, picking up a book. I love the book, The Mountain Is You. I love that book because it talks about self-sabotage. Y'all know I don't really believe in self-sabotage, but self-sabotage, that's 2 words that have to deal with us doing acts against ourselves. I would not even go into hope if the relationship was going to come back together. I don't care what happens in the relationship. I wouldn't even get into hope that it comes back together. I would get into knowing. That's why you should have a coach like me, because I can help you. Even so, we got faith. That's what I'm talking about right now. Faith that if a relationship ends and you don't want it to begin again, that something better is going to come for you. That's actually called the law of compensation. That's a universal law, but I'm not going to get into all of that. I ain't going to go woo to woo on this. If you want to look up law of compensation, it basically says whatever you lose is going to come back to you even better. And I'm going to tell you how this played out in my life all the time. When I was a teaching artist, if I ever lost a contract, I used to always say, if I lose a contract, I'm going to get 3 better contracts in its pet place that pay me 3 times more. And it always would happen like that. Got to get a little Bible-y on you. 2 Corinthians 5:7, we walk by faith and not by sight. Faith is my favorite, y'all. See, this is what happens. When I gave up hope, I switched into knowing and I switched into faith. Faith is my favorite. Your senses aren't going to see it first. But if you genuinely really love someone and the relationship ends and there was so much good in that relationship, why can't you believe the faith that it could come back together? What's going to hurt? What's it going to hurt? Y'all say y'all can't tolerate not knowing. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can tolerate anything you want to. It may not always feel good, but that's the thing about happiness is that if you allow yourself to know that the good is always going to come back around to you no matter what, then guess what happens? The good comes back around to you no matter what. I often ask my clients for evidence when they say, oh, it's a good week, because I want them to let their brains hear how the good showed up. I want them to remind themselves of the good or the happiness or the good feelings that are in their lives. I want them to know that life isn't just about being, terrible. And I love how faith is set out. And I'm just using the Bible right now, but I think faith is talked about in all the holy books. What is faith? Faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good testimony. I love Hebrews 11. This is why. It's the end part for me. Okay, I get that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. But when it says the elders obtained a good testimony, that's the way of saying, like, the old folks know they have lived long enough to see faith show up. Are you keeping track of how faith shows up in your life? Because faith and happiness are kissing cousins. Because faith is the vehicle that gets you to feeling good, feeling relaxed, to feeling like you own yourself, that you are connected to yourself, which we use as a catch-all word called happy. Do y'all know I grew up with a dog named Happy? And I dreamed about Happy the other night, and I dreamed about a guy I went to school with, and he gave Happy a brownie, and I ran after Happy, and I was like, you can't eat that brownie, Happy. It's got chocolate in it. But seeing my little sweet dots and Happy in my dream, I woke up and I was just filled with so much joy and love about experiencing Happy. Yes, you can go back to your past and remember happy experiences and not let it be like, oh, but I was so happy then and look at me now. No, it's evidence. It's evidence of things unseen. It's that faith. It's that faith. It's that faith. Let me give y'all a little bit more before we get out of here. I've been talking to you recently about asking for help, saying your needs, all of that. What if you were to look at the world as your 8 billion helpers? And like, not only do you get helped, but you are in someone else's 8 billion helpers. People who can give you that information. You asked a question, then you're in the grocery line and someone says it. Or like me last night, where I'm making potato salad. Really, I'm gonna go over to my mama's house and be like, show me how to make your potato salad for Thanksgiving. And I put up, how do you make, potato salad? And I was at 44 comments where people gave me the steps of how to make potato salad. How lovely is that? Those are my 8 billion helpers. I am their 8 billion helpers. If you come to this podcast weekly, like I want you to, then I am in your 8 billion helpers. You are not here to just, be here by yourself. As a matter of fact, there is a statistic that isolating yourself is the same as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It has the same mental health implications as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Loneliness, isolation is now a public health issue. When I recognize my 8 billion helpers who want to love me, who want to help me, who are here, part of the reason why we're here, think about how you feel when you help somebody, who are here to bring about change for yourself individually, but for the world collectively. Like, there are 8 billion helpers and people love to help me and people want me to be successful and they want to help spread my message. And I'm one of their 8 billion helpers. It just makes me feel happy. Happy, y'all. Happy, y'all. I left a lot on this page. So this gets to go into the next podcast. What I have decided I'm going to do until I forget, y'all, and y'all will tell me, be like, you didn't give us our weekly affirmation. I want to leave you with an auto suggestion or an affirmation at the end or somewhere in the podcast. Y'all, I give you a lot of affirmations in this podcast, but something that you can take away with you. And the way that I like to use affirmations is sometimes I say them over and over and over and over, kind of like a chant, especially if I'm having a hard time. Sometimes I might write them at the top of my journal page and journal about it. Sometimes I might talk out loud and be like, well, how can I prove that this is already here? And when I give you an affirmation, it is going to be that you are thinking as if you are already there. I know in the next podcast, I will give you so much more on that, how to think yourself into already being what you want to be. I ain't got time this week. But your auto suggestion or your affirmation for this week is my happiness is already here. And then your subconscious throughout the week, if you repeat this a couple of times a day, or you write it out, or you do whatever you want, your subconscious, your brain is going to look for evidence that your happiness is already here. So I want to leave you all with that. My happiness is already here. My happiness is already here. My happiness is already here. And it is. Part of what I do as a coach is bear witness to what has already happened. Your happiness is already here. It is. It absolutely is. All right, y'all. This is a good one. Have a good day. Join me next week for episode 71, or go through the library of episodes and find something that you love. I am here for you. I love doing this work. Today, when I was getting ready, I was looking all cute and sexy. Did y'all see my red lip and my earrings? I know, right? I was like, I'm going to love doing the podcast today. I'm going to already script that I love the day, that I love the podcast, that it's going to be an incredible experience. And like, whoop, here we are. All right, y'all, have a good day. Mwah, mean it. Thank you for giving me 70 episodes. It means everything to me. And here's to 700 more. Have a good one. I'll see you next week. Are you feeling what you just heard? Good. Repeat after me. You don't have to figure it out on your own again anymore. I'm here to help. Head over to KimArrington.com and download my free video series dedicated to getting you feeling your best right now. Look around. There's some good stuff waiting on you. Got questions? Well, we're always talking on the socials, so find me on YouTube, Insta, and the book. Don't be shy, y'all. Go listen to another episode or join me here the same time next week. Finally, don't keep good shit to yourself. Share this with a homie that could use some help too. Remember, we're not lying to ourselves anymore. We're not lying to our doctors, and you damn sure don't lie to your life coach.